Where is he?
Where are you? Skull Rock. Do you know it?
Hello, this is Stacy over at the Skull Rock broadcast. I am joined by...
Hello, this is Megan. Welcome back to our Stranger Things podcast. And welcome back to our deep dive of season 4. We are finally at volume 2 of season 4. So today we're going to be talking about episode 8, which is called Papa. We just recorded yesterday about the massacre at Hawkins Lab, which was a lot of fun. And yeah, we're doing double duty this week to try to get this done before season 5. What else has happened, like promo wise, for season 5 since we last talked? I guess we talked about the New York premiere, but they also had a London screening, which looked pretty cool. It was rainy.
Yeah. So very London coded. And I think I mentioned this last night. There were, at first they said it was a leak, but actually it was a promotional thing.
Oh, yeah. And I think there was another one maybe that came out today, or there's like TV ads or something that are coming out. And I haven't been watching like any of them, but Sean Levy, that's just what I say, both to cover all the bases. He's been like posting a bunch of like throwbacks, and today we got a throwback of Joseph Quinn and Joe Keery as Eddie and Steve in their costumes. And I guess it was like right after they decided on the wig for Eddie, so he was kind of showing it off. And I loved how Joe was like, I want a Hellfire Club shirt. But it was just so cool to see that, because that's that iconic, like, they like hug, like they're leaning against that car and then they hug. Like there's a video of that, but it's like that, like an extended version of like that moment, I guess. So it was fun to see. But yeah, it's just been fun, the lead up of everything. And Ross Duffer posted some more photos, I think, today, just from the London thing. And I think there's like a Sydney event coming up.
That's cool.
Yeah. So they're definitely like taking it on the road to promote season 5, which is cool. But
yeah, I'm eating up all the content, all the interviews, and it's only going to get more exciting once it actually premieres.
Exactly. So how's it going? I mean, we just chatted yesterday, but did you have a good day?
Well, it was a great day, you know. Quinn and I are just chilling out. How about yourself?
Yeah, pretty good. Tried to get some stuff done around the house. I just like, I feel like it's going to be a busy week, and then we only have one more week, and then like a short week before Thanksgiving. So then we get a little break. I love Thanksgiving, so I'm excited for it.
Oh, it's one of my favorites.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and get started, I guess, chatting about the episode, since it's going to be a long one.
Papa.
I don't know why it's called that. I mean, like, I guess the very end, but like, really? Like, that the whole episode needed to be called that? Like,
I was rolling my eyes a few times. I swear to God, no, nothing against Matthew Modine. This was a great character. But if they somehow have him fucking survive again, even though he was shot to hell, like, I'm done. I know. Well,
I mean, I guess he really only died once and came back, right? Like, he came back in season 2, but just like as a cameo in the dream.
Is a great scene.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, with that Demogorgon, it's almost like Hopper surviving that blast. Like, I don't know.
I was thinking that we would see him in like flashbacks and stuff like that. Like, but maybe he's like actually dead after this, because like you said, he got shot a lot. Like,
I was trying to count how many times, and literally I was like, Jesus Christ.
I know.
Man, if a bullet went by me, I'd be down for the count. All right, well, we pick up where Volume 1 left off. An exhausted 8-year-old Eleven is looking at the gate that she made where she vanished Henry/1, and it slowly starts to like close within itself. And we then pick up exactly where the season opened with Papa walking in, and he right away demands to know what she's done. And yeah, the de-aging, I'm not going to pick it apart, but this was like, maybe it's because like it's lit in a certain way and like you're really concentrating on the eyes. But it, like, what happens to her is what happened to Stacy in college after 2 original Four Locos. Eyes go back in her head and down like a sack of potatoes.
Yeah. I think the weirdest thing for me with the de-aging was like when you would see the little 11 and then when you would see normal sized 11. And I guess it was like if you were supposed to be seeing inside Elle's mind, like it was usually just her unless you were looking in a reflection. But like if you were supposed to be seeing like outside of Elle's mind, you were seeing like the little 11. And it was just like not very consistent to me.
Like, not trying to rip apart the digital effects. Like I said, they did the same thing with It Chapter 2, and once you know they're doing it, you can't unsee it. And sometimes it works. Sometimes it's a little noticeable. And I'm not going to give any spoilers, but there's some more de-aging in this new season, and it's all in the eyes.
But I do like the other thing that I was like thinking about here was that like at first you thought when he's like saying, "What have you done?" that like he thought that Elle killed all of these kids. But then I guess once you get to this scene, you realize that like Elle did do something because she did take the thing out of the orderly's neck. And that was sort of what caused all of this. Like we're not victim blaming Elle. But like I guess that is kind of what Brenner was alluding to when he said, "What have you done?" But he does try again. I keep jumping ahead to the end, but he does try to blame her. He's like, "Well, you're the one who freed Henry from his prison. Like you killed all those kids."
There's
and
a
I'm
lot
like,
of gaslighting going on in that moment.
Exactly. So I was having a lot of like thoughts about that.
Yeah.
But Nancy, we cut back into like Nancy's mind and the vision that Vecna is showing her, and she sees the little Henry getting his tattoo, and then
sick.
Yeah, you've been there plenty of times.
Yep.
But Brenner sort of like turns into like Vecna and like looks at Nancy and is like, "There's nothing to be afraid of, is there, Nancy?" So obviously she runs from that. And as she's like running through the lab and seeing like dead kids, so like the timeline is just all over the place.
It's very chaotic with the cutting back and forth, but I like that in real time.
Yeah.
Steve just looking like a vision. He's still trying to like, shake Nancy like a rag doll because she's still under, the spell. And he yells up to the open gate to Erica, "Whatever you guys are planning on doing, you better do it fast." I don't know, maybe because this is such a tense, scary scene, I do love this moment of Erica running down the hallway of the trailer into Eddie's bedroom, and she's like, "Steve says you need to hurry," and right away, the kids are ripping through all of Eddie's shit, and they're like, "We're trying, what is all this shit?" And right away, Eddie's like, "What are you even looking for?" And Robin is looking at all these cassettes, which you do see her looking through Nancy's music collection, and I do remember the stupid ass theories that were going on before like the music guitar experts clocked that it was Master of Puppets. For the longest time they thought it was going to be like Final Countdown, and I'm like, what the hell? No, that's nobody's favorite song. And they were like, "Oh, Eddie's gonna play the guitar, Nancy's favorite song, in the Upside Down so she can hear it." And I like low-key kind of believe that myself. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. But really, you see Robin being like, "Do you have any Blondie, Madonna, Beatles music? We need music." And it's just such an iconic moment of just two people crashing out in panic. And he holds up his Iron Maiden cassette, whose mascot is Eddie a Zombie, and he screams, what?
"This is music."
It's Megan with the Now and Then soundtrack.
Yes, exactly. But in the vision, Vecna says that he has shown Nancy where he's been, but he wants to show her where he's going. And she ends up like tied to the chair in the lab by the vines, and Vecna says that he wants Nancy to tell Eleven everything, like that he tells Nancy, which again, I really don't know
why her.
why Nancy, but he shows her flashes of like the rift opening, and basically
Spoiler
all
alert.
you see is the rift opening, and you see a lot of clocks and like the hands turning back on the clocks. So I'm gonna like fixate on the stupid clocks.
The fact that I was stunned when the gates actually, spoiler alert, open in the next episode, they show it right then and there.
Yeah.
But like it's such quick flashes, you don't really register what you're seeing.
Yeah.
But she's screaming, no! Did I sound just like her?
Yeah.
And just
Natalia
then,
Dyer, is that you?
like, is it me? And she then snaps out of it. Her eyes are back to normal, and she basically, her knees buckle, and like
Steve catches her.
he catches her like the prince he is, and he's like comforting her, saying, I'm right here, I'm right here. And Natalia's acting is amazing. She looks petrified.
Yeah, absolutely. Then we get the credits. And at the prison, the Demogorgon is still just like on the loose.
It's pissed off.
They're all trying to find a way out. Joyce and Hopper are having a cute little conversation about how like he thought that he lost her, and she says like,
I'd be like, what did you bury? It's
yeah,
like that moment in
exactly.
Castaway when he's like, what did you put in the casket? Like that's
she's
literally
like,
what I would ask.
I did lose you. I lost you for 8 months. Like we had a funeral. Like he's like, did anybody come? I always thought I would be like liked better when I was dead. But
I'd be like, who really cried? Tell me.
Yeah, like I remember the boys like were excited to tell Will like that
Mhm.
girl was crying in his
Same
funeral.
thing, yeah.
But she's like, Elle misses her dad. Then you realize that the Demogorgon can climb. So new development. But they hear something behind a big door.
Yeah.
And the scientist guy is like yelling at them not to go up there, that it's dangerous. But-
Okay. And they, like, Hopper goes in, and it always reminds me, I know you haven't seen this, but it's the fourth Alien film with Winona, and it's called Alien Resurrection, very coded like that. And he goes into this lab, and first they find, like, what looks like a little hobbit Demogorgon, or either just looked like a short king strapped down to the gurney, but its like chest is open like in an autopsy, and you kind of feel bad for it because it's like screeching in pain. And Hopper,
Well, because at that same moment they're attacking and shooting the big Demogorgon, so you know how like they're connected. So it's like writhing
it's
in
angry.
pain. Well, one, because they've cut its chest open. I guess they were like, you know, like kind of like studying it or whatever.
Yeah.
But like because they're obviously like breeding them, because then you see the more
Ew.
of them in like the tanks. But like
Ew.
I mean, that's what it seems like.
How did you get breeding out of that?
Well, there's all these little babies in the tanks.
Maybe they're collecting them from the upside down.
I think they're breeding.
Jesus, that's a visual I never. Okay, we're moving on. But Hopper puts the short king Demogorgon out of its misery. And like you said, the Demogorgon has climbed up on the platform. And when the Russian guards go to reload, it's like, "Rah!" And it goes after them like they're a bunch of Big Macs. And they look around and there's all these freshly bred.
I think they're breeding the Demogorgons, but Stacey thinks they're collecting them.
AO3
But they're all like babies.
writers, do what you want with that. And they're all like floating in tanks.
Why
And they hear-
would they all be babies?
You are doubling down on this. I need to move on. Tonight's been a bleak night. I can't imagine Demogorgons bumping uglies.
Okay. Well, I mean, I don't know if they're, maybe it's like an in vitro, like,
Turkey baster?
no, like they're just like breeding them in like test tubes.
Guys, take a goddamn drink every time Megan doubles down and says they're breeding the Demogorgons. That's what the name of the episode really should have been. Bread. All right. So we're moving on. They hear a noise, and
Guys, if you agree with me, then let me know.
vote below. And you thought this episode wasn't going to be good. So they hear a noise. What's
Wait,
that noise?
But the dust.
That's the noise. So please move forward from this fucking breeding fantasy.
I think this dust has something to do with the breeding.
Fucking hate you so much.
I didn't know I was going to strike a nerve. Yeah, they have some sort of tank of upside down dust as well. That
It's
they're
like
studying.
the dust that possessed Will and activated the mind flare, right?
Yeah.
I love that
so
you're calling
then-
it dust.
What were you going to call it?
Mind flare magic. Continue.
You just came up with that just now.
That's how quick I am, baby.
Dimitri comes up and he's like, I found something. And it's like a tunnel, like
Very
under the-
aliens
yeah.
coded. There's a scene like that where they have to go through it. And I don't know. I'm not claustrophobic, but I'd be like, as a slightly bigger boned human adult, I'd be
breeding.
like, oh, I hate you so goddamn. What if the Demogorgons were breeding in the tunnels, guys? But literally, I'd be like, guys, are we gonna fit? But they all start crawling out, and we see that mind flare magic swirling around the breeding farm.
Yep. I mean, that's what it looks like, test tubes.
So many turkey basters. Now this kind of throws me off.
Yeah.
We know that obviously, triggering that memory and it all coming back and her like full potential coming forward. They use the goddamn defibrillator on her.
Yeah, they just shock her to bring her back. So she was, done for.
And I love that Papa's like, leave her be when they're trying to give her oxygen. I'm like, give her a goddamn second.
Yeah, but she gets up. She like pushes the oxygen away, and she right away, I guess, wants to test out her powers to see if they're back. And what do you think her lifting the tank reminded me of?
It reminded you when Luke was training with Yoda on his planet in the swamp and he had to lift the X-Fighter plane.
X-Wing.
So close. So close, guys. I almost had it.
Out of the swamp. Right? I mean, it was
Yep.
exactly like that.
Mirrored image, yeah.
Oh, this was so Star Wars coded. This the rest of the episode, like with Elle, was
Mhm.
Star Wars coded. Loved it.
And I love that Jonathan is fighting to stay awake. So live
Yeah,
footage
slapping
of Megan
himself
driving
after New
back
Haven.
from
Yeah.
New Haven. Yep.
Exactly.
And Argyle's kind of pulling to me, like right away he sees the Surfer Boy pizza billboard. He's like, I didn't know they expanded to Nevada. And I love him being like, Domino's, your dominoes are going to fall. And what happens in the back of the van?
Well, first Will is joking that they should stop in Vegas on the way back. That Elle
Great
can
plan.
make them rich. I'm down. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, we can always
Let's
use some
go.
extra money. But Mike starts to like spiral about Elle and how she's not going to need him anymore,
Oh,
and that it was really just dumb luck that he found her when she needed someone, and she just needed someone. She didn't really need him. And she's going to figure out that he's just some random nerd. Yeah, I mean.
yeah, I mean, if the shoe fits Cinderella.
But Will ends up showing Mike the painting that he has made.
And he quickly goes, 11 commissioned this. And Jonathan kind of clocks that in the rearview mirror.
But he's basically Will is telling Mike how he feels about him. But
yeah, through painting.
through telling him what Elle, quote unquote, Elle feels.
And it's kind of a heartbreaking monologue, because he kind of uses her, like you said, as a way to kind of like express his feelings. And he's like, when you're born different, you feel like you're a mistake, which is such a heartbreaking line. And, that if, Elle's gonna lose you, she would rather it be quick instead of being drawn out and stuff. And he's like pouring his fucking heart out. And only a fucking 14-year-old dumbass boy would probably like completely, that would go over his head, which I love all the memes of Jonathan looking in the rearview mirror and you see the gay pride flag over his head. Like, I'm picking up something's going on. And Mike instead is like a little comforted by these words. And he's too busy looking at this painting of the party in their knight's uniforms. And, he's, leading the party because he's the heart. Don't even get me started. But they're battling a what in this painting?
A dragon, like a 3-headed dragon. Is that what it is? Yeah. Pretty cool.
And literally Will turns like not even a full, like, What's half? And 360 is the full one.
180.
And he starts like sobbing, and
yeah,
Mike's in his own world.
Mike's, not noticing at all. Brenner is explaining to Elle that when she passed out after the attack that she fell into a coma and that she had opened a doorway to another world. Basically, when she came out of the coma, like she didn't remember. But
blocked it out.
He says that with each victim, Henry is putting cracks in the dam and that Hawkins is going to fall. So Brenner and Owens kind of understand what Henry is trying
What's
to
at
do
stake?
here.
Yeah.
And Elle is like very worried for her friends, basically.
Well, yeah, like Papa, like he's not like wasting any time. He's like, he's chiseling away and he's going to end the fucking world. And I love that, like, Al, and you know, your friends are all going to die. And Al like pops up and like in a panic leaves the room. And I love Owens being like, great, not, ominous at all. Like, totally great.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's the one that showed her like the pictures of the 3 victims and stuff like
which
that.
I was like, holy fucking shit.
So it's like they really knew that this was Henry and that like Owens says based on like the eyes of like the victims that
these eyes.
But Elle goes into her
just
room.
Ignored that.
Always. She goes into her room.
Do you notice she didn't use, mind you, she had nothing to cover her eyes, but maybe this is like a little preview that she's Elle 2.0.
Oh.
She doesn't use, she puts the water on as white noise, but she doesn't cover her eyes. She's able to just focus and go into the void.
Yeah. So she goes to find her friends and she's watching as Nancy starts to explain more about what she saw in the vision, which it's like the next morning. So I guess they kind of got some sleep, first. Or
I would hope so. Like they were able to use the bathroom and they went across to Max's trailer because, they don't want to hang out where the gate is. And Max's mom is probably at work. And Nancy talks about that she was shown. So there was this, so she saw downtown on fire, dead soldiers, a giant creature, which is the first time I've ever picked up on this, so I'm a horrible
with
fan.
a gaping mouth.
A gaping mouth, and that the creature wasn't alone. It had an army of monsters, and she watched them slowly coming into their neighborhoods and homes, and that she was shown her mom, Holly, and Mike, sucks to sucks, Ted, and right away Steve is like, well, he was just trying to scare you. It's not real. It hasn't happened yet. And right away, she's like, no, I saw gates opening like the one outside Eddie's trailer.
Yeah. And she says that there's 4 gates spreading across Hawkins. And Max makes the connection that there's always 4 chimes of the clock.
I would have never picked up on that.
They realize that there's going to be 4 kills and that they're only 1 kill away from this happening.
Which Eddie's reaction is kind of how I would react, 1 kill away from shit hitting the fan. But right away, you see Steve, forever the babysitter, he's like, try the phone again. So they're trying to contact the others in California. And we see Elle's point of view in the void. And she sees, Max trying the phone again. She's like, it's still busy. And they're all kind of arguing, maybe it's Joyce's work, but would it stay busy this long? Something must be going on. And that's when Nancy kind of is looking out the window and she's like, we need to go back into the Upside Down and kill Vecna. Right away, Steve and Eddie's reaction, again, realistic. And Steve's like, we barely got out of there. I love that he points to his neck, out of there alive. And she's like, well, this time we'll be prepared. We'll get weapons and we'll be ready to take down Vecna. And right away, Dustin kind of speaks up and he, when Robin suggests, she's like, yeah, you're right that Vecna is 11, has all these powers, but he's a homicidal maniac and it's not a fair fight. He could obliterate and kill them all and with the snap of his fingers. Right away, Dustin is like, well, let's not make it a fair fight. And he brings up kind of what Elle's doing right now, that when she uses her psychic abilities and goes into the void and her mind is searching, almost like radar, her body is left renderless, defenseless. And right away, he's almost like sleeping Dracula. When he's searching for his next victim, what we could do is get in there and, plunge a stake through his heart and kill him. And right away, Steve's like, what about the army of bats, And, we'll find a way to distract them. How would we do that? We don't know yet. Which, Eddie, you're gonna play a key in that, and you're not gonna be playing the final countdown.
And then they talk about like how they don't really know who the next victim will be, and Max is like, yeah, we do. Like, I can still feel him. Like, all I have to do is ditch Kate Bush and he'll come after me. So basically she's volunteering to like be that victim, to sort of lure him to her, and is like, I don't care how you end up killing him, just try not to miss.
Which, that is heartbreaking. And right away Eleven's like, oh my God, like they're
Yeah.
really thinking about doing this.
So in Russia, they come out of the tunnels into the snowy landscape, and they end up, I guess, finding the van, and they blast through the gate, which I love them being like, sayonara. And as they drive down the road, they like argue with Yuri about whether or not he's going to help. Oh, and then I guess we switch back to the teens and, well, no, the kids in Hawkins, and they're making a plan to go to the war zone.
Yep. And I love that he's kind of like right away, he's like, this is the best place for finding things to kill stuff. And at first Dustin's like, would it even be worth it? Like, it would take us half a day to bike there. And right away, Eddie's like, who said anything about bikes? And Steve, I'm going to let you take over the rest of this scene because it is pure deliciousness.
It's such a good scene. They're all around the table and Steve's just leaning into Eddie as he looks at the phone book, and Steve is like, what do you got, a car we don't know about? And he's like, I didn't say a car, but it's not exactly a car and it's not exactly mine.
But it should do.
Yeah, it should do. And then he asks Max if she's got like a ski mask or a bandana or something, because obviously he can't be like seen.
And I love this moment because it's not only it's a throwback to season 2, it's a little bit of humor that is much needed in the moment.
Yeah, because she's like, she kind of like shrugs and is like, like maybe, and ends up giving him her mask from Halloween from season 2, which is
and what's
so
the name
cute.
of that character, Megan?
Michael Myers.
Good girl, guys. I'm so proud. And I love his little hand signals as they're like, not that anybody would like wonder why this whole huge group of like dirty, bloody kids are running around with a guy with a fucking Michael Myers mask in the middle of March, but they reach an RV where a woman was very rude to Nancy earlier in this season because she talked to enough reporters, and I love them kind of like they dive through the back window, and Eddie rips off the mask and he's like, that was suffocating, locks the door, and he starts to hotwire it.
Yeah,
and
he
what
locks
happens?
the door because literally the owners of this Winnebago RV are sitting right outside. Like, so I guess they don't hear people like just jumping into their RV, but he starts to hotwire, and Steve asks him like how he learned how to do that, and he tells him that like while the other kids' dads were like teaching him how to fish, like his dad was teaching him how to hotwire. He swore that he'd never end up like him, but here he is, wanted for murder and soon Grand Theft Auto. I've seen this scene so many times.
So magical.
But it's so good. And then so he's kind of like dealing with the wires, and then Robin comes over and she's like, Eddie, I'm not sure I love the idea of you driving. And Eddie quips back that he's just starting the sucker. Harrington's got her. Don't you, big boy?
JQ, forever the master at improv.
Yeah, it was just the most iconic line, just caused the whole steady thing
to just explode.
Yeah,
and it's
exactly.
Near and dear to our hearts because
It is.
That's how we end our episodes. Netflix, don't cease and assist us. We're fine.
Only the ones that have a secret segment. It's not the ending to the episode. It's the start to the secret segment.
Wink, wink. But it's such a great moment because I love Joe and Maya's like look of confusion because they weren't expecting that. And just then the engine fires up
And the radio comes on.
We got some CCR blasting. And right away, the owners like jump up. And I love them banging on the doors and like Eddie just grinning. And like you hear Steve telling himself, like, it's just a car. It's just a car. And he's driving barefoot. But he's like, everybody hang on. And Dustin's screaming at him to go. And it's just so funny because of that song that's playing. And he hauls ass out, like runs over a bunch of trash cans and stuff. And right away, Robin's, one of them goes, they look really pissed. Robin's like, well, it's not every day that you lose your car and home in one swoop. And Eddie's like headbanging to CCR. And I love the owners when they realize like they've gotten away. The wife takes a trash can and says, God bless it. Classic.
Yeah, that's so funny. But I literally, the very first time I watched this episode, hit rewind and watched this whole scene like 3 times. Like,
it's
no
iconic.
lie. It's like my absolute favorite scene in Stranger Things. Like, that's the only scene I've ever done that with and like rewind, like hit rewind and like watched it like 3 times the initial watch of the show because I was just so delighted by the whole thing. So
great.
It's perfect. It's perfection. So we're back at the Nina Project. And
11 is not happy.
She's not happy. She's very concerned that her friends are going to get hurt, like trying to do this. And Brenner is basically telling her that she's not ready, that Henry, he doesn't just kill his victims, he like consumes them. Which this was the first time I kind of clocked this whole, like, I feel like it's going to have some significance. Like,
yeah, the fact that they, you watched Dream Master with me, part 4, and even though we're a few buzzballs in, the whole thing is every time Freddie kills somebody, that girl Alice, the lead girl, she takes like their dream powers. And they could have definitely played it up more in that movie, but after each death, she changes a little and grows a little stronger. So with Vecna, in the opposite direction, he consumes everything that they ever were and everything they would ever be, their memories, their abilities. And if he survived this long, he's only gotten stronger, and they can't risk losing, especially him killing 11, because she is super fucking powerful now.
Right. But then I also thought it was very interesting that he said that she is going to have to fly.
Yeah, which, guys, the trailer, I'm just like, okay, cue the Super Mario Brothers theme. Like,
yeah. So he's reiterating that she's not ready, which is, again, very Yoda telling him, Luke, that he's not ready and that he needs to stay and he's not ready to go help his friends. So, I mean, but Owens is supportive of her choice to go.
He's like I
this
can pull
wasn't
some strings.
Yeah, this wasn't supposed to be a prison. Like, if that's her choice, like, I'm going to support her. I'm going to get her there. So then we cut back to the Winnebago. This
Set
is
to fire and rain. And I have to tell you, I don't know if you felt the same way. This was a little cringy.
The first time I watched it, I have to admit, I thought it was kind of sweet. And it is, because it is sweet. It's Steve. Steve is sweet. Steve has absent parents, no siblings that we know of. He wants a family. Like, he wants a big family. And I think that this, like, him admitting that he's always imagined that he would have 6 little nuggets and that they would travel the country in an RV every summer and, go to the Grand Canyon, go to Yellowstone, go to the beach in California and learn how to surf. Like, that whole thing is very sweet.
It really is. And I remember discussing this with my sister because it was the whole, like, fuck, marry, kill. And I'm like, can I just fuck, Billy, Eddie, and Steve all at once? But I said I'd kill Billy. I would fuck Eddie because, he's a wildcat in the sack on that stay mattress. And then with Steve, I would marry him, even though that's not exactly my idea of a future. You can't help but swoon, no matter who you are, at that speech. And even though, like, Nancy's been making googly eyes at him, I would fucking melt too. And it's really sweet, kind of like the looks that they're giving each other. Like you said, it's very Steve coded, and the 6 nuggets that he wants represents the 6 kids that he's constantly constantly saving and looking after.
Yeah, because he's like, well, it's not like I don't have practice, and like acknowledges like the kids in the back, and Nancy's like, well, that's fair. But
Which only a man, I'm sorry, I have to rant for a second. Only a man would be like, I'm going to find a woman that's going to want to have 6 kids. I'd be like, I will make the kids with you, but are you birthing them? Like, you sick fuck? But then again, then it's Steve. I'd be like, okay.
that's the thing too, though, is because like Nancy from season 1 has always said that that's not what she wants.
She states that with Jonathan when they're target shooting, that she didn't like the traditional route that her mother went after, which, poor middle-class baby. And then when Steve suggests working for his dad, who clearly there's a strained relationship, and like doing all the adult stuff like insurance, which, in your late 30s, you're like, good move. And Nancy looks horrified at this. So clearly they're on different pages, and maybe it's just like, the world could be ending. This kind of sounds good. Like, it's definitely a weird scene, but what always bothers me is the question of the episode, and I have tried freeze framing it. I have posted about this. So you cut to the back of the RV. Where's Eddie?
In the bathroom?
I'd like to think he's on the can, because that is the only possible explanation of where he is.
There's also like a little stairwell where he could be sitting, but it's like real close to Steve and Nancy. So
I love how in all the
like...
fics, he's always like sitting behind Steve, and it's like he's really looking in the rearview mirror at him. So I think he's on the can, because we see like Robin and like, Erica and Dustin are trying to get a little shut eye at the table. Eddie's on the toilet. So in the back, we see Lucas looks at Max, and she's sitting in the back looking out, and he kind of walks over, and I like that at first he's like spiraling. He's like, listen, I have an idea. We'll go through, Miss Kelly's files. We'll see anybody else who's suffering the same symptoms. There has to be another person he's going to target. And Max kind of like is like, cut the shit. First of all, we don't have that kind of time. And also, I would never let an unsuspecting person that doesn't know what they're going to face to go against this. And she's like, it has to be me. And she kind of breaks it down for him. She's like, what this Vecna does is he preys on your worst memories, your darkest thoughts, your memories, your fears. And she goes, and it gives me chills every time. She goes, I'll just hide and I'll run to the light.
Yeah. This scene today, when I watched it, I like literally like bawled. It was
Thank you.
Like, just, I guess knowing then what happens makes it even worse, but like they are the cutest. Like,
I root for them. Out of anybody, I hope they get a happy ending.
Because Max is like, yeah, I it's my mind. I should be able to control where I go. Vecna focuses so much on the negatives that are happening in my mind, but I do have good memories. Like, I'll just run to a light memory. I'll hide in the light. And Lucas asks her if she has a memory in mind, and she says that she does, and they're just like so cute. And because he's like, am I there? And she's like, that's presumptuous of you.
Another callback to season 2. It's so adorable, and yet again, Dream Master, dream someplace fun, and what saved her life in Dear Billy was thinking of her memories with her friends and with Lucas, and that's what literally made her run to the light. So it's a powerful scene. Like we said, we know obviously how this ends up, but it's such great acting between the two of them, and it's very emotional. And I love that he goes, all right, but if you start to lift, I'm calling in Kate Bush. So at least like they think they have a failsafe.
Yeah, exactly.
Eddie's still in the toilet.
So back in Russia, they get to the town and the church, and they go into this like storage shed, and we get a look at Katinka.
Like him hugging it and like going like her large buttocks, and like Joyce losing her mind, slapping him, going, you're saying you had a plane. That'd be my reaction. We're going to cross a fucking ocean in a chopper?
I mean, it's not that far of an ocean.
Okay, Miss Carmen Sandiego.
From Russia to Alaska is not that far.
I'll show you the Twilight Zone footage of that accident. You won't look at choppers the same. So what happens after that?
It's just so funny. Yuri being like, well, I didn't say I had a plane. I said I would fly you there. And he's like, she's still a virgin, not the real Katinka. My first love. She's not a virgin.
That's probably my second favorite line of his, that and my mother is dead. Dead tired of living like a bum.
Yeah.
That wasn't even Russian. That was something else. Sorry, guys.
I just love, I hate Yuri in the beginning, but Yuri in this episode was kind of fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
And I love Dimitri's rapport with Yuri and them giving each other shit. That was hilarious too, because Yuri's to Hopper, you were stuck in a cell and you didn't smother him. But anyway, we cut back to the Hawkins gang and they get to the war zone.
Which
it's a little busy.
I love that it's set to rock and roll hoochie coo. And right away, I'm sorry, thank God Steve, even though I mourned him taking off that vest, thank God he put something on real quick, a bomber jacket and a camouflage shirt, which Joe Keery has kept. But
We've
all
seen
split
him
up.
Wear that multiple times.
Getting frozen yogurt. I'm same. But I love that Erica and Max right away, they're picking up knives and supplies and stuff. And Steve shrugs on, just so cool, on his bomber jacket. And Robin's
did he just steal it? Or did he purchase it?
He probably kept the tags on, Which right away I was like, who is paying for all this? And I'm going to assume it was Steve. Let's hope his wallet didn't fall out of his sweats when he's being fucking dragged across the lake bed. But Nancy didn't have a purse and they didn't go back to the car. So it has to be Steve, or they just ran out of there. But right away, him and Robin are trying to figure out how many cans they need of kerosene. And they spot Vicky, Robin's little crush, and she's looking very Molly Ringwald from 16 Candles with her cute little straw hat. And what happens?
Apparently she has a boyfriend. So
heartbreaking.
Yeah. He comes up and he's teasing her, and then they kiss, and Robin's looking on so distraught about it, and poor Steve is just looking at Robin so distraught. And then Vicky ends up clocking Robin, who runs away, and the boyfriend is who is that? And Robin's oh, just someone from band.
Yeah. And then I have to say, so this scene displays some great acting between Mason and Natalia. So I guess this is from what I remember my father telling me, and especially in the Midwest, they weren't fucking doing things by the book. But apparently you could actually go to a Sears or a Army surplus store, and there was always a wait list on handguns, but you could buy a shotgun, no background check, no nothing. And I think you could be 16 and buy one, which insane. So she's looking at it, and I don't even know if this was a good price, but for $120.99, she could buy this double gauge shotgun, and he'd throw in 20 rounds of buckshot. I have never fired a gun because I know myself. It would be literally I would accidentally shoot into the sky and a bird would fall and crush me.
Yeah,
so,
I've shot a bow and arrow, but not a gun.
Why is that so Megan going? Oh my, moving on. So literally so buckshot is a lot like rock salt. It spreads and it does more damage than I think, honestly, a shotgun shell. So she's looking at it, and just then we see Jason Carver, and he ends up walking away with a gun. So either he pocketed it or they didn't give a shit at this place. A lot of angry hicks. And right away you see Erica clocks a bunch of the basketball team. They're all shopping in there, and you're like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. So Jason kind of strolls over and he's like, Nancy Wheeler, what are you doing here? And she plays it pretty cool at first, but I love it gets really tense when first he grabs the barrel and he's like, yeah, sure, this has good stopping power, but he does prove a good point, which maybe that's why she sawed off the barrel, that somebody can grab it and disarm them, and they're face to face, and this is Nancy, you go, girl. As soon as he goes where's your brother? He's in that Hellfire group. She right away will not back down, and she's let go. And she like says it again, and it's really uncomfortable, but it's really tense. And I always love that scene because right after that, we see the people that would have gotten clocked, which is Dustin, Lucas, and Eddie, nervously waiting in the parked RV. And the others burst in. I love Steve just throwing shit at Eddie. And Erica's like, your old friends are here, to Lucas. And they haul ass out. And I believe Carver actually clocks the RV pulling out as he's walking out with the guys.
Yeah, it seems like he does. We go back to the Surfer Boy pizza van, and they seem to be arriving at what should be the Nina Project, but there's nothing there. They're out in the desert. And as they stop and pull over so that they don't get more lost, they're checking the coordinates, and Argyle is obsessed with the fact that Nina could be a small woman, not an actual place. So he's out in the desert calling for Nina, looking for any signs of life.
And look how he's the one that finds the tracks from the military vehicle. So guys, this is actually a message. Do drugs.
Exactly. No, Argyle is just fantastic. So we don't give him enough credit for sure. But we realize that Sullivan and his whole gang has gotten there first.
Here comes the asshole crew.
Yeah. But speaking of assholes, Brenner has set his men on Owens.
Which, what the hell, man?
Trying to keep Elle from leaving. They talk about like how Brenner is making the only right choice, and Elle ends up asking him like, well, did you make the right choice with Mama? Did you make the right choice with keeping Henry in the lab with all those kids? And this is where she asks him like, what were you literally just always looking for Henry? Is that what I was looking for? No, I don't believe him.
No. He's like, Soviets. Yeah, okay.
I think that they were looking for the Soviets, but really he was always hoping that she might find him.
Yeah.
And Brenner, this is where Brenner is sort of trying to blame Elle for releasing Henry from his prison.
Which typical, like, not, it's so powerful, and not to get too deep, but it's almost like these two iconic characters and Elle standing up to her abuser, you know, and she's confronting him once and for all because now she's grown, and she's calling him out on all his bullshit, and basically he's gaslighting her, and you know, he's like, you're just lashing out because you're responsible for all this. And you know, she's like, you've been obsessed with Henry. And I love this line where she goes, I came here believing I was the monster, but the truth is you're the monster.
Yeah, because she's like, the gate, the mind flayer, so many people have died, and it was all because you couldn't let Henry go. You were so obsessed with him. And she's like, now I know the truth, that it wasn't me, it was you. And she's like, I'm going to open this door, I'm going to leave, and if you try to stop me, I'm going to kill you. And she opens the door, she tries to leave,
she
and
puts her back to him.
Or he tries to inject her with that stuff in the neck.
In the neck.
And it goes in, but I don't think he gets to like insert all of it.
She's able to throw, because at first I was like, wouldn't she be knocked out? I don't think he was able to like put the plunger down the whole way.
Exactly. I wish that she had stuck it in his neck, but
oh, that would have been great.
Yeah, she ends up kind of like, you know, using her powers. She like fights with him, but ends up passing out. And I guess that was actually kind of a good thing because he ended up later carrying her out. So if they had both passed out, that wouldn't have been great.
It always makes me think, this has nothing to do with anything, but her confronting him, it always makes me think of that scene from Knocked Up where Leslie Mann is like talking to the bouncer and she's like, doorman. Like, I don't know why it reminded me of that, but it gave doorman energy.
Yeah, good for her. But we're out in the field, which is such like a beautiful little scene. Dustin and Eddie are making shields. Nancy's sawing off the shotgun with Max.
Imagine you owned those trash barrels. This is me talking as a 37-year-old. And you walk out the next day and raccoons have gotten in the garbage. And you're like, where the hell did the lids go? And these assholes are using them as shields. But yeah, Nancy's sawing off the shotgun barrel. I love this cute scene between Lucas and Erica. Just two siblings kind of giving each other shit. And they're making the spears.
Yeah,
and
no, Well, that was actually really cute because I loved Erica saying, like, this isn't like basketball where they're going to blow the whistle if you trip over your shoelaces. Like, and she's giving him shit, but he's like, but you showed
Nobody's
up at
forcing you to
every
be there.
single game. And she's like, well, I wasn't at the only one that mattered, but like mom and dad forced me to go. And he was like, mom and dad can't force you to do anything. Like, so it was just cute to show that like Erica was showing up to Lucas's basketball games and like being a supportive little sister.
Just the facts. Yeah, for
Yeah.
once they're not threatening to kill each other.
Yeah.
And I do love this scene where like Eddie's testing out the, the shield and stuff. And right away he's calling himself Eddie the Banish. And Dustin has like my kind of sense of humor, like love a good pun. And he does the whole, you ready for battle? And Eddie's expression is like your expression often when we're recording, just staring at me blankly like, I'm going to have to cut this out, Stace. And I love that they start roughhousing and stuff. And this is when I believe, and I'm sure I'm not just talking for myself, we knew this beloved new character's goose was cooked.
Yeah.
Whenever he like suddenly gets serious and he, looks at Dustin in the eye and he goes, Dustin Henderson, never change. Promise me. Right away, I'm
wasn't planning on it.
Fuck.
Yeah. It's awful. But then Steve and Robin are talking. Steve is so concerned about Vicky and like, I don't get it. He's in college. He must be back for spring break. So it couldn't have been him that was watching Fast
Maybe she's got a
Times.
thing for Judge Reinhold, which didn't we all? And I love that Robin right away, like she sees what he's trying to do. It's like almost like Big Brother energy because he really does care about Robin. And she right away is like, Steve, I don't care.
We've got like more important things to deal with here. And like she's like, I have this feeling that like not everything's gonna work out. And I'm not talking just about, because she says something about like where it's not always like a happy ending, and he's like, oh yeah, I know, and sort of like looks at Nancy and she's like, I'm not talking about failed romance, Steve. Like it's just like seems like it might not work out. And he's like, well, do you think we shouldn't be doing this? And she was like, no, but like
who else is gonna do it?
Exactly. So,
and I love their kind of like, it's just one of my favorite moments because I do love, these two are my favorite characters, but I love them kind of like cheering with the Molotov cocktails and going to killing Henry
/ Vecna
/1.
Yeah, it's so good. But Elle wakes up again with
She's
the
got the
collar
collar
on. Oh my God. Which we're like, oh, we had to find this collar in the last episode and it made an appearance. But Sullivan ends up arriving. And again, like I said, so Star Wars coded. Like he is Darth Vader in
The
that
way he's
moment.
going down those corridors.
Yeah. Like, and I
and
said it was almost like the it was like the Death Star, so it was almost like them coming on to the, or like the people from like the Death Star or the Imperial people like coming and like boarding one of the other like ships, like starships or whatever, spaceships. But the other thing that it reminds me of, and I feel like I've told you this before, but when it's like the alarm is going off and they're evacuating,
Yeah,
it reminds
the
me of
scientist.
like the beginning of Empire Strikes Back when they have to evacuate the base on Hoth, like because they're
I
all
just know
trying
when
to get out.
when you saw Rogue One, I know you were probably cheering like a dad watching a football game during that Darth Vader massacre scene. I know you. But yeah, like the scientists start evacuating and right away freaking Dr. Brenner is like, 11, we have to get out of here. They're trying to kill you. And he like scoops her up, which I do love that behind the scene thing of Matthew Modine carrying 11, and right away, you know, she's like, you still want to do this? And he's like, you've only gotten taller, and they carry her in front of the Duffers. But right away, you know, you see Owens, he's handcuffed to a fucking pipe.
Yeah, and Sullivan they find him, and I love Sullivan being like, "Were mommy and daddy fighting?" Like, Jesus.
I'd be like, it's mommy and papa.
So Brenner carries Al out, and then, like you said at the beginning, he is shot multiple times.
Which, this is the first time, was I staring down at the floor that I noticed all the dead scientists that evacuated dead on the desert floor.
Yeah.
First time I ever noticed it.
Yeah. because they've all
Carnage.
evacuated and just being like shot as soon as they come out. But the guy in the helicopter basically tells Sullivan that he has Elle in his sights and asks permission to take the shot. And Owens is literally begging Sullivan.
I
He's
can
like,
put her in a medical-induced coma. Then we can wait and see if these killings still continue. Because if they do, God, are we going to need her? And Sullivan, like the Darth Vader Sith Lord prick he is, what does he say?
he's like, take the shot. And luckily, at that moment, the van, the Surfer Boy pizza van, has
Beep, beep,
arrived
beep.
and distracted the guy, and she's able to get out of his sights. And Elle ends up like using her powers
It's
on the
such
helicopter.
a badass moment. It
Yeah.
remards me of the original Firestarter. This
Yeah.
girl has fucking had enough. And she just like literally yanks it down and it explodes. Our guy's the only one like, holy shit. And they get out, and it's, you know, a very emotional scene because Mike and her reunite in almost like a mirrored scene of like Will watching between them, like Robin and Vicky and the boyfriend. And then I think it's very sweet that she ends up hugging Will, like the, you know, the surrogate siblings are reunited. And, you know, Jonathan's like, we're going to get out of here. But then what does she look at?
Well,
Because something happens.
the collar unclasps, and you realize that Brenner has the remote in his hand, and he's unclasped it. And so she walks over to him. She's like, Papa. She kneels down. He tells her that he's proud of her and that she's family, that she's his child.
My child.
And
I'm
it's
like,
like-
no, you're not.
I mean, like figuratively or literally. I'm not
Ugh.
sure. He did everything for her. Please tell me you understand.
I cannot, because what I love about this moment is the music, you know, and obviously
Yeah.
the acting between
I
Millie
have
and
like
Matthew.
the music in all caps in my notes. Like it's
just
insane.
It sounds, I think it's almost the same score when Eleven goes into Nancy's bedroom in season 1. It almost sounds like a lullaby, and it's just so sad. And I love that she holds his hand, and it's almost like he needs to hear her say, like, I understand.
Like,
And
she doesn't give him the
instead,
satisfaction.
she doesn't give her abuser the satisfaction. Instead, she just says, goodbye, Papa. And she gets up, and I just love how epic, you know, the music swells. And it almost sounds like the end of the Western The Searchers. And she gets into the van, and he then resembles a certain candy mascot.
Yeah. Well, Sullivan is watching the van leave, and then you see Brenner sort of turn over so that he can like watch the van leave as well.
Takes me out every time.
Like, and then he kind of just like flops down like the green M&M. But you see this like shot of him from above with his like legs all off to the side.
Kind of like how I
Um,
sleep. Like my legs are in the position of a 4.
Flamingo.
Yeah, flamingo. Yeah.
But Elle is telling the boys that they need to get to Hawkins like immediately tonight or all their friends are going to die. And Jonathan's like, it's over 2,000 miles. We're never going to make it. She's like, we need to find a way. And they're like, well, wait, who's going to die? And then you cut back to Hawkins. And this is, again, one of the most beautiful scenes
First
ever.
of all, it's at dusk, which is, it's the magic hour. It's beautifully shot. And we see the RV going down the road, just out in the open, you know. I'm sure those people haven't reported them yet. And set to, and I always personally thought this was Journey's best song. Like, I know when we were in high school, because of, I want to say it was the OC. It could have been another show, maybe The Hills, that Don't Stop Believing got like a huge comeback. So like it was on everybody's prom CD, but I always thought Separate Ways was like the true banger of that band. And it starts slowly playing, and you see everybody is like decked out, full Red Dawn gear and stuff. And they're all sitting around, and like nobody's talking, and everyone kind of like, it's very like tense because they're about to go into battle. And I love that the RV stops as the music's picking up, and they drop off Erica, Lucas, and Max. And where are they?
At the Creel house. And they walk up and go inside as the RV leaves to, you know, go do other things.
Go hop on the good foot and do the bad thing.
Yeah. Gorgeous.
Such a great episode. Definitely I can see why they split these up. But yeah, Papa was definitely a great full circle, you know, arc for Brenner, but at the same time, like, yeah, you could say, you know, because you don't know. Maybe he really was right. Like, she wasn't ready, you know? We're gonna fucking see. But there was a lot of symbolism for father figures, abusers, you know, gaslighting, and then, of course, all the Star Wars references,
Yeah,
which were
I mean, like,
gold.
they lost at the end of Empire Strikes Back. Yoda told Luke that he wasn't ready. Like,
I always call this the Empire Strikes ending because I told you, like, we're going to discuss the piggyback, you know, later this week. I know you, like, don't like watching Eddie's death scene, but when the gates open for some weird reason, I fucking tear up every time because it's almost like they lost.
Yeah.
Bummer. Like,
Yeah.
Han Solo is frozen in fucking carbonite.
Yeah.
We're screwed.
Yep. So I love just
Loved all the
all of
Demogorgon
the-
breeding.
No, I was going to say all of the Steve and Eddie scenes, but
I mean, of course.
oh, the RV is just so iconic. And yeah, episode 7 changed my brain chemistry and made me so obsessed with this show. But then, like, this episode, I feel like just solidified it after waiting for 5 weeks for it. And it was like, worth the wait. So gorgeous. Like,
did I ever tell you? So I call the RV a Winnebago. I don't even know if
it's
that's
the
right.
brand of RV.
So,
it's like there's a W on it. Like,
yeah, so it's a Winnebago. So my good friend Melissa, she's very, very smart and stuff, very well educated, well spoken. And she used to be a big fan, especially the first 2 seasons. And then she kind of like stopped being a fan. And I remember like her biggest problem back in 2022. She was like, oh, how do these kids, because she saw the trailer before we watched Volume 2, she went, how do these kids suddenly have a Winnebago? And I remember just going, I don't know, they just found it. And she goes, Stacy, do you even know about Winnebagos? Have you ever gone camping? And I don't know why, in my 15 years of friendship, we've never argued. That was like my tipping moment. I went, you're not the world's authority on fucking Winnebagos. And I told Shane, my tattoo artist, and he thought it was so funny. He's like, I love that she can suspend her belief about, you know, girls with superpowers and monsters, but kids stealing a Winnebago, too far. He goes, Stacey, I love you losing your fucking cool. And you went, you're not the world's authority on Winnebagos. So still to this day, years later, anytime he sees one on the highway, he'll text me a picture and go, Winnebago. That's my Vietnam. It's very triggering.
Oh, I love that Winnebago. Anyway, so it's just crazy that we're here, season 4, volume 2, one more episode. So I hope you have been enjoying our Lover's Lake deep dives, and we'll be back with one more before season 5. But you've got merch you wanted to talk about.
I got some merch. So I want to give a huge shout out. I'm going to be mentioning them actually through a few episodes. Hello Sailor Tees. They can be found on Instagram. They have their own Etsy shop. They were one of the first shops I bought from and supported this small business way back in 2022 because they made such great pins and air fresheners and prints based off our boys, Steve Harrington and Eddie Munson. And they've made pins based off Scoops Ahoy and Family Video. And they're recently actually preparing to make a season 5 Steve with the Squawk Van. So I just need to tell people, especially with Black Friday and Small Business Saturday, I think it's called, support small businesses. Shop on Etsy. Look on Instagram, guys, because there are so many amazing artists and small businesses that make such great fan art and little trinkets and stuff that collectors like us and fans of the show definitely need in their collection. So Hello Sailor Tees, check them out. I know for December 11th, there is a Hot Topic exclusive pop of Dustin. Apparently he's beaten up. We kind of saw that in the trailer and he's visiting Eddie's grave. JanSport, they have done, because I think they've done collaborations with Stranger Things the last couple of seasons. They did a whole line of backpacks. I want them all. 37 years old with my backpack, but they look awesome. And also, I did like I mentioned, my Stranger Things advent calendar. I think I got it through Walmart. It was a turd. 0 out of 0 stars. But I got ornaments now on my tree. And I got my Joe jersey. I always think I look like a linebacker wearing a jersey. Like, I just remember when the Red Sox won the World Series back in 04 and then 07, like, I ended up wearing one in high school. But I was like, I don't have the body nor the style to pull this off. But this is actually surprisingly flattering. Like, I don't look like I'm, Icebox from, like, Little Giants. So it's really cute. And I thought it was black, but it's like navy blue, which that's starting to slowly become my new color. So really, really loving that. But I am just waiting because I already know there's going to be a new wave of pops right after Volume 1. So stay tuned, guys.
Well, that's fun. Yeah, I really liked your jersey. It's super
Thanks.
Cute.
Did you like me holding the vinyl like it was a football?
Yes.
Yeah,
I enjoyed that. It was great. Did you put stuff on your face too?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
It was eyeliner because I couldn't find my grease paint. Because back at my old job, they used to do a staff volleyball game where the kids would watch. And I would always put on the football paint, me and the security officer, and we'd hype everybody up and stuff. And I'm the most unathletic person. I made my team lose every year. But I'd always be like, I could have been a wrestler. I'm like, are you ready to rumble? So that was me and my Joe jersey, guys, which I don't know. Merch is band merch is expensive, but that blue sweatshirt, the navy blue
I'm
one.
not a fan. Do you like
really?
it?
I hate the smiley face logo, but I love the back of him. So I'm like, why couldn't it just have that on it?
Yeah, I'm wearing my Joe.
How much was that? 40, 60?
40 or 45, I think.
That's not bad, and I like black. Maybe I'll get one for Christmas for myself. Says the girl who's broke, but it's cool. It's fine.
Yeah, it's the black long sleeve, but it says Joe in red and the Crocs, and it has a sort of negative looking kind of vibe of his face. So it's cool.
The gorgeous mug.
It's the only Joe merch I bought. The rest was just the VIP stuff that I got.
Oh, love that VIP.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was super fun. And I guess we will go ahead and end it there. I'm not sure if we talked. Did we talk about where everybody can find us on our episode
we haven't.
yesterday?
Where can they find us, Megan?
So good thing that we're doing these 2 episodes together, because we definitely just failed at our outro yesterday.
Whoops.
But I mean, that's just our MO. But make sure that you find us on social media. We're mostly hanging out on Instagram. This podcast is at Skull Rock Broadcast, and my Instagram is at Steady Stories. Stacy is at Stay Still Reviews. You can also check us out on Patreon if you would like to support our show and get access to bonus content. We just posted another one of Stacy's taste tests.
You're welcome, everyone.
Enjoy that. I already saw some comments on it while we were recording.
Sweet.
Yeah, but we will be back very soon.
And we're going to be giving each other piggybacks.
Oh, is that what's happening?
Yep.
While the Demogorgons are breeding.
Get out of my life. Over and out.
Yeah, so we'll be back in a couple of days with the final episode of our Lovers Lake deep dive, because when you're listening to this, season 5 will be coming in 4 days. So crazy.
Insane in the membrane.
Peace out.
Peace.